about. So this video is going to be part 2 in the Australia incident series, and before we get into it, you know the drill. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you're thinking. And as always, feed that pesky algorithm and share this video. And of course, if you're not subscribed here, I'd love to have you consider subscribing. And so that's all the shilling, so let's get into the video. I don't know how many videos we're going to end up with this. There's so much work that's went into this. And first of all, thank you so much to the right side of the Roaring Rapids for all this amazing hard work. So let's get into it. In Miss Heard's U.S. claims of 4/11/19, by nightfall, Johnny had hit me multiple times, shouted and pushed me to the ground, choked me, and spit in my face. Johnny then handed me a liquor bottle he was drinking from and asked me, "What are you going to do?" If Mr. Depp hit Miss Heard multiple times, shoved and pushed her to the ground, where are the photos? Why doesn't anyone at the scene following the severed finger incident note swelling, bruising, or redness on Miss Heard? Surely someone would have noticed she's been abused. And number 2, if Mr. Depp choked Miss Heard, there would be red marks, discoloration, forming a bruise on her neck. Why are there no photos? Why doesn't anyone at the scene following this incident note red marks, discoloration, bruising, swelling? Number 3, Mr. Depp's allegedly taken around 8 MDMAs and is drinking heavily and hasn't slept. He's allegedly angry, violently abusive, but stops to hand her a bottle of liquor he was drinking from. After all of that violence, he simply hands it to her? I think he would have thrown it at her. In Miss Heard's U.S. claims of 4/11/19, I threw the bottle on the floor. Johnny responded by starting to throw cans and unopened glass bottles at me. I wanted Johnny to go to sleep in hopes he would sober up. Instead, he began to fight with me about our upcoming marriage. Number 1, if Miss Heard was trying to defuse the situation as she alleges, why throw the bottle on the floor? Why not just sit down on the nearest bar surface or table? Throwing the bottle on the floor escalates an abuser. It doesn't make logical sense. And number 2, Ms. Heard alleges Mr. Depp threw cans and unopened glass bottles at her. So Mr. Depp, who has allegedly been drinking heavily for 12 plus hours and taking MDMA like candy, is now throwing projectiles. He likely would be passed out if he ingested that many MDMA and drank heavily. And number 3, where were the cans? The bottles presumably are at the bar, so he has to leave the bar area, pick up cans and throw them at her, then go to the bar and throw the unopened glass bottles, all while on 8 MDMA and heavily drinking for 12 plus hours. Wouldn't hitting her have been easier? Number 4, the fight Mr. Depp allegedly started was about their upcoming wedding. As Heard forgets, she was legally married prior to this alleged incident in a civil ceremony on 2/3/15 and at a ceremony in the Bahamas on 2/7/15. Who is the blackout drunk? Who is the drug addict? In Miss Heard's U.S. claims of 4/11/19, I observed as Johnny then called multiple lawyers and representatives, including Tracy Jacobs and then his agent at the United Talent Agency. Number 1, Miss Heard claims as enraged, heavily inebriated man who has taken 8 MDMA, beaten her for hours, choking her, all of a sudden stops throwing cans, unopened glass bottles, and violently abusing her to make phone calls. It's not logical. Number 2, phone records would easily determine any phone calls made during this alleged incident, as well as who specifically the phone calls were made to. Why is it none of these alleged lawyers, representatives of Ms. Jacobs, have come forward to document a call on these dates? And number 3, if the alleged calls to Mr. Depp's lawyers, representatives, and Ms. Jacobs did take place, I'm sure they would have noticed he was very inebriated and extremely high. If he made them, if they were asked, I'm inclined to believe he was not in this state. In Mr. Depp's U.S. claims of 4/11/19, that night, Johnny shoved me into a ping pong table that collapsed underneath me. Okay, and I'm going to put up some pictures here, and this is the rec room in which Miss Heard claims Mr. Depp shoved her into a ping pong table that collapsed underneath her. Do you see an issue? It's a solid wooden pool table. If this wooden pool table collapsed beneath her, she would have been paralyzed or dead. And number 2, Miss Heard, likely due to her excessive drinking and drug use, forgot that the rec room with a ping pong table was in the house she lived in while filming Aquaman in Queensland, Australia in 2017. The same house where she caught an artificial tree on fire. I've got a picture of that we've put up here. In Miss Heard's U.S. claims of 4/11/19, Johnny threw bottles through the window panels of a glass door, breaking 2 panes and leaving glass everywhere. Number 1, the ping pong table doesn't exist at the Camera, Queensland estate the couple was staying at. It exists in Miss Heard's 2017 rental home during the filming of Aquaman. The Camera, Queensland estate has a solid wood pool table that looks to be cherry or stained cherry. Number 2, if Mr. Depp shoved Miss Heard into this solid wood pool table, causing it to collapse underneath her, she would have sustained broken bones, internal injury, possible paralysis, and possibly could have even died. It's illogical. And number 3, if Miss Depp and Miss Heard would have been positioned in the center of the room, according to her allegations, if he was throwing bottles at her, breaking 2 panes of glass, then wouldn't it be in the direction of the bar, in the direction of the pool table? And I'm going to put a picture up of this that shows you the direction that it would have been coming from. Number 4, per evidence in the UK last year's trial, the panes of glass that were broken were behind the bar. It would have been impossible to angle the alleged thrown bottles to break the glass if he were just randomly throwing bottles at her, even in the direction of the bar. Number 5, Mr. Depp's explanation of events makes sense. He claims Miss Heard threw the first bottle at his head. When he ducked, the glass pane was broken. The second bottle she threw severed his finger. He says he was behind the bar. She was in front of the bar. The angle works. Number 6, where is the glass she claims is everywhere? There would have been glass on the other side of the broken bar window inside the bar area, but everywhere. Why isn't there a photo of the alleged glass everywhere? The glass cleanup would have been on the damage report. Number 7, and I'm going to put another couple of photos up here. In this evidence photo, take a look at the blood splatter on the floor. It is consistent with Mr. Depp's claims. He was behind the counter. The direction of the blood drops is toward the door exiting the bar area, which he said he left after his finger was severed. And you can see the blood drop. Yeah, wow. Number 8, and this is going to be another evidence photo that I'm going to put up right here. In this evidence photo, take a look at the mini refrigerator in the bar area. If you look closely, in it is Breck's non-alcoholic beer. The substantiates Mr. Depp's claims he had been sober for nearly a year, but he chose to pour a drink because of the intensity of the argument. Now, I don't see. I can't make out the drinks. I'd have to enlarge it just looking at it while we're doing this. Number 9, if Mr. Depp's been sober for a year, if Breck's non-alcoholic beer is stocked supporting his claim, and the Queensland hospital reports in Virginia show he wasn't inebriated, as Ms. Heard claims, he doesn't have the amount of drugs in his system, then it calls into question the rest of the claim. And we're going to stop right there for today. Like I said, this might turn into 4 or 5 videos because Right Side of the Roaring Rapids has done so much work on this. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I'm enjoying doing it and going through this with you. I'm reading these all as I record these videos, and I think it's all extremely fascinating. And I will get the next video out to you as soon as possible. But until next time, be blessed.